Good morning, respected principals, sir, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Niranjan K. Manoj, a student of class 9. Today, April 23rd. Today, we, the students of class 9, are going to celebrate the reading day or book day or else the birthday of William Shakespeare. All across the globe, it's considered as the birthday of William Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a great British poet and considered as one of the greatest writer in the globe. But of course, even Shakespeare's characters have the names of moons of several planets in the solar system, especially Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Even we can say Ophelia is one of the moon in Neptune too. Ophelia is a character of Shakespeare's drama. Shakespeare had expressed all his thoughts by writing it in a book. By reading book, he will gather information and joy, and he will write as a knowledgeful writing. That's actually a good process. We need to read books more. The actual message of the reading day is we need to strengthen our reading ability. So let's get started. We'll grow by reading, but we'll grow more by reading as an effective generation, as an effective people. We have our Jyoti ma'am with us. She will convey a wonderful, a beautiful message to us in this reading day. And together we have my friends Sarah Paul. She will recite a poem of William Shakespeare, Sonnet 18. Dhyanray and Sajid will narrate on Shakespeare's life and give us information. Who was Shakespeare? What was Shakespeare's ambition? Where do Shakespeare born? And all. Shivani will sing a song that we had sung last year. Due to this pandemic crisis, we are taking the video in our home. At last, we are clipping it together to make a wonderful video. So, I'm going to invite you all to this wonderful program. Let us get started our reading habit. So, let's get started. I'm going to invite Shia Sa for a little minute talk. Anyway, that video has a length of 10 minutes. But I think the video will surely entertain you. Shia Sar's English will surely entertain you, and you will be very, very fond of reading too. Now I'm inviting Shia Sar to hear. Shia Sar, please.
Thank you, Niranjan, for this great opportunity. Teachers, principal, and my dear students, I think it is a great privilege to talk to the students of Kendriya Vidyalaya, why not, on this wonderful day, celebrating reading books and writing and libraries and things like that, right? So, by the way, I must say something about Mr. Niranjan. I know his activity, right? I know his interventions in the area of theaters. I know his videos showcasing different cultures of India. I also come to know about his different, activities and initiatives to develop the confidence of students in life skills and various other areas. So, in a way, I'm a close friend of Mr. Niranjan. So today, he asked me to speak about reading, right? If you watch my video closely, you would find my bookshelves, right? You can see the books piled in different racks of my shelf, and that indicates my philosophy on reading, right? How much importance I give to reading is visible in my video, right? I'm a serious lover of reader, right? And often I say I read all the time except when I'm sleeping, right? So I can read when I'm traveling, I can read when I'm even eating, I can read everywhere, so that clearly indicates my philosophy of reading. So I don't want to be elaborating much on the importance and significance of reading, because you know that, because you're already into that club of that celebrate reading and interactions and writing and things like that, right? So I'll be taking some time on thinking about reading, right? What are the different formats of reading, right? So I'll be talking about that. And normally, we spend time reading books, right? That's very, very important. That's the most important, very popular format of reading, right? You read books, you read short stories, you read poems, you read novels, you read biographies, you read autobiographies. We have different genres of literature which help us to understand the world near to us closely, right? Through reading books, you understand different cultures, you understand different people, their philosophies, their worldviews, their sense of love, their sense of tragedy, the sense of life around them. So it's a very, very important method of developing ourselves in terms of people and cultures around us, right? So we spent huge amount of time reading books. Normally, people read literature books, right? I know you read books on different literatures of the world. But my first point is, of course, you read literature. Along with that, you also find some time for reading social sciences. You read something about science and scientific investigations and inquiries, right? You read about other than literature, right? So reading should not confine itself with literature, right? So literature is normally it's a very important area when we talk about reading. But my point number one is when you read, of course, reading books is very, very important. But when you read literature, along with literature, try to diversify your reading diet. That's my point, right? Diversify, enlarge your reading diet. So number one, reading books. They say books are like the fresh rain that you get in June, right? You know that, if the new water flows through the different avenues and the dry soil is wet as a result of this beautiful fresh rain, right? Similarly, when you read, you understand different cultures, different people, different lifestyle, different philosophies. They say when you read, you have the capacity to live different lives of people, just as our heroes and film stars, right? They can live different lives. They can live the life of a policeman, they can live the life of a employee, they can live the life of a doctor, they can live the life of a thief. So you experience the dimensions and excitements of different lives. So reading books is a key dimension of reading, right? Now let me extend this idea of reading to the next level. You know that you're living in an age of visuals, right? So you do spend most of your time in the company of gadgets, right? You read uh, television, you read internet, so you watch your mobile phone. So you should know how to be reading these visuals, right? So we talk about visual literacy, right? We are living in an age of visuals. So the mere literacy about reading books wouldn't help you to live in this world better. So, what are the strategies of reading television? So, what are the techniques of reading internet intelligently? That's also a very important key skills. I must say that like for example, when you watch a movie, you think questions like why hero is always magnified with the soundtrack and with the screen presence, why the villain is given a very dim light, very, 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 very difficult track, right? Why certain characters are portrayed like that? Why they are given in that kind of a costume, right? What is the impact of the product on the scene, right? What are the properties of that that are kept on the scene? What the soundtrack, what are the clothings of this character. So you should understand what are the kind of colorations employed there. So it's not just simply a passive kind of an activity, right? Reading a television is not a passive activity. You should know what is this program, right? What is the what exactly? Normally we do that, the storyline of a program. Along with it, you should also know how these stories depicted. What are the strategies for depicting? Who is depicting this visual? What are their attitude and views regarding life and people around us? Who is the audience? So these are some of the questions you should be asking when you imagine, for example, if you watch the Malayalam movies. We know that most of the directors of Malayalam movie are maids, right? So imagine we have more female directors making films and cinemas. What kind of change will that bring? So that's an interesting question, right? How will the films change when the women start looking through the camera? So these are the questions you should ask when you watch, visuals. When you watch gaming, why, this celebration of killing and murders? Why this celebration of violence? What is the result of that? These are the questions you should be asking. So number two is reading visuals, right? And thirdly, I told you we are living in a world of environmental concern, right? We talk about loving nature, we talk about conserving forest and protecting the diverse species of the nature, right? We have lots of literature celebrating these kind of expressions, protecting nature, protecting various species of animals, celebrating the organic link between human beings and animals, and especially we talk about these in the context of COVID. Should we rework our lifestyle, our attitude for capitalization, our attitude for consumerism, our attitude for profit making, right? Our attitude for luxury. All these have created complicated issues like COVID and things like that. So the idea of engaging with nature, the idea of relating with nature, idea of observing nature, right? You remember, the most celebrated question, like what is the answer for 1 plus 1? Normally your answer is 2, right? As a mathematics student, your answer would be 2. But Bashir gave us a different answer. He gave us big one, right? So how he got this answer? His answer is as a result of his close affinity with the nature. When he watched the two rivers, coming together, it becomes a bigger river, right? So my point is that watch the nature around you, watch the environment around you, watch the crisis happening there. What are the issues related to the life of human beings in nature? Normally we talk about, we conserving nature, right? We protecting nature. But we know that that idea itself is a wrong idea, because we are not protecting nature. Instead, we are protected by nature. So that the whole framework has to be reworked to understand the nature better. So my point is that as a reader, you shouldn't stop reading just books and just visual products. You also should be trying to read the nature around us, because nature is a wonderful textbook. You have lots of lessons on life embedded in the nature. And fourthly, the idea of reading human beings, right? Normally, when you travel, right, people. When we were traveling, we always talk with the people sitting opposite you, right? But if you travel now, because of this concern for gadgets and things like that, people don't talk to each other, right? So you make a message that I'm not interested in you, right? That's a very difficult message. By looking into your gadget, you are communicating a very complicated message that I'm not interested in you. I am not interested in what you want to tell me, right? I'm just interested in my own world, my own choices to TV programs, my own favorite television programs, my own favorite singer, my own favorite political commentator. You are not opening up yourself to the other world, other people, other culture, other ways of looking, right? So instead of doing that, try to see people, try to see their engagements, try to see their way of interactions, try to know their concerns, try to know their background. You're going to get a rich resources on human life, right? So that is the fourth and the most important dimensions of reading. You know, reading human beings, reading people around you, their concerns, their apprehensions, their excitement, their background, their sense of philosophy, their sense of reading, their sense of engaging with the world. So these are the key four dimensions called reading. So I told you those four. Number one, the idea of reading books, right? Which is of course comparatively popular with you. The idea of reading visuals, the idea of reading the nature, the idea of reading the people around you. So normally we end the talk about reading, with not that confidently. I would say that any talk on reading should be extending to the idea of writing also, because reading is a normal foundation of writing, right? So I often say, you shouldn't stop just with reading. You should also think of writing. How can I do something about these ideas? Can I write a story about it? How can I give a beginning if I develop a play based on it? What are the characters I'll be developing? If I write an article on this issue, how should I begin? What are the ideas I'll be adding in the introduction? What are the ideas I'll be bringing in the middle? How will I conclude this? Yes, so the idea of writing is always embedded in the idea of reading, right? So reading is a very important component of writing, right? So for example, when you want to write something, your reading has to be a little more focused, right? You need to be, underlining the key important points of the essay, right? You may be asking them questions to the text, right? You're not a passive reader. You ask questions. You reflect on that essay. You ask questions, right? If you find some interesting ideas, you say your excitement. If you find some of the ideas are not really authentic, you ask that question. Why these ideas are not authentic? These ideas are not impressive, right? So you can think of some possible composition topics, some topics possible out of these areas, You can also think of reading, in different paces, For example, certain paragraphs can be read very fast, certain paragraphs can be read slowly, right? So that you decide the pace of your reading. So my point is this, if you want to be a writer, your reading has to be a little more focused. You are no longer a passive reader. You're a very active, engaged reader, right? So that's also very important as far as the idea of reading is concerned. Reading and writing are not opposite. They are mutually connected and they are mutually linked. So all these are more ideas I would like you to be reflecting on when you discuss issues like reading, interactions, communications, library, books, and the culture of deliberations and things like that. Okay. So once again, I thank Niranjan and his friends for inviting me for this great program. And you know that it's COVID, we won't be able to meet in person, and it's a real loss. But even then, technology is a real help at this point of crisis. So thank you very much. Wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Shiarsar's content was actually heart touching. It inspired us to continue and re-begin our reading habits and all. Now, I'm going to invite Jyoti ma'am, our beloved library ma'am, to here. She will convey a wonderful message to us, to the children of Kendriya Vidyalaya, Kalpetta. So, Jyoti ma'am.
Good morning to all. Today, April 23rd, World Book Day. Every year on 23rd April is celebrated as World Book Day. The theme for the day is enjoyment of books and enjoy reading. The first ever World Book Day was celebrated on 23rd April 1995. It was also death and birth anniversary of William Shakespeare, world famous writer. On this day, Class 9 children of Kendriya Vidyalaya Kalpetta is organizing various programs for you all. Enjoy the program, enjoy the reading. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for the wonderful message that you conveyed to us. Now, I'm going to invite my friend Kendriya and Sajid. He will narrate more on Shakespeare's life. He will tell us where did Shakespeare born, when did Shakespeare born, that we all know in April 23rd. But he will tell the year and all. He will tell about Shakespeare's major dramas, major poems and all. So, I'm going to invite Kendriya and Sajid to give us more information and knowledge about William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright and actor. He was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England in April 1564. The exact date of his birth is not recorded, but it is often celebrated around the world on 23rd of April. His father was a successful local businessman and his mother was the daughter of a landowner. Shakespeare is widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and world's pre-eminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and nicknamed the Bard of Avon. He wrote about 38 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems and a few other verses, of which the authorship of some is uncertain. His plays have been translated into every major living language and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. Some of the most famous plays of Shakespeare are The Hamlet, The Macbeth, Julius Caesar, The Tempest, King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, King John.
Thank you, Dan, for the wonderful knowledge that you gave to us. Now, we all are aware about William Shakespeare. Some people say this day is as the English language day too. I'm going to invite Sarah Paul, my friend. She will recite a poem of William Shakespeare. The poem's name is Sonnet 18.
Good morning. William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet and an actor widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. Today I am here to present a great poem of William Shakespeare, Sonnet 18. Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds to shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But the eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou awest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this and this gives life to thee. Thank you.
You had enjoyed Sonnet 18 too. Now it's the time to introduce and invite Shivani here. because she had sang the song last year. By the time, she was not alone. She was in a group. Many of my children in my class had sang the song in 2019. I think you all had remembered the song. It's about book, right? Well, Shivani will sing the song and you can recollect your memory that we had sang the song last year. Well, it's time to invite Shivani to hear. Shivani, please.
है जिंदगी किताब दोस्ती है रोशनी किताब दोस्ती ये राज़ कायनात के हमूर सब हयात के ये राज़ कायनात के हमूर सब हयात के पूरे सदा किताब से है आ गई किताब दोस्ती है रोशनी किताब दोस्ती है जिंदगी किताब दोस्ती है रोशनी किताब दोस्ती आ, आ, आ,
Hope you had enjoyed all the program. Thank you all for watching the program. I dedicate this program to the teachers who inspired us by giving letters of light. And I especially thank Jyoti ma'am and Rasina ma'am for the endless support that you gave us. And we are going to thank actually Shia sir more because he had many duties at that time. But he had gave us a wonderful video of 10 minutes and inspired us to continue our reading habit. So, we need to spread the message of reading all across the globe. I especially thank my friends Sarah Paul, Dhyanray and Sajit and Shivani for the endless support that they gave to the video, that the effort and hard work, and they took wonderful initiative in the video. Well, of course, before the pandemic, we didn't celebrate the reading day, but we celebrated the library day in the month of November. But anyway, it's our first reading day celebrations. Let us enjoy it and don't rush to it. Well, anyway, it's the time to say goodbye to you. One message I need to tell you. A book is a gift that can be opened and opened again. So, we need to utilize the power or the capacity of reading books. We need to spread all the message of reading books, and reading books makes us different human beings and almost different from others. So, thank you and have a wonderful reading day. Happy reading day to you all.